So what is albinism? Albinism is a genetic disease that I have that causes little to no pigment in hair, skin, and eyes. So I'm going to talk about my experience with it, and then I'm going to talk about how to talk to a person with albinism. So first and foremost, having no pigment or little pigment in hair, skin, and eyes. So let's start with my hair. I am blonde. There are a couple of people with albinism who are blonde, who have darker hair. Some people even have brown hair, but a lot of people have a white hair. That's what we think in the media when we see someone with albinism. For me, I am very lucky that I'm blonde, because when I go and get my hair dyed, I do not need to ask for them to bleach it. Hair dye stays in my hair, stays kind of forever. If you can see, I still have like red hair, pink hair now, because my hair, I dyed it red a while back. You can scroll down on YouTube and you will find me with red hair, and the red never really went away. So hair dye stays in my hair for like ever. And then let's talk about the skin. So you can see I am very, very pale if you haven't noticed yet. This is something that is honestly very easy to deal with. Just make sure you wear sunscreen. You can wear whatever you want. I can go outside. There's a lot of misconceptions about that, but I can go outside fine. I just have to make sure I take care of myself and wear sunscreen like honestly every other human should do. I am one of the people that's lucky that I do not burn as quickly as a lot of people with albinism, because I still have some pigment. But, you know, I burn quicker than most normal, quote, people who do not have, you know, who have pigment in their skin or who have more pigment than I do. And then let's talk about the eyes. And that's, I guess, the most difficult part about having albinism. If you can see, my eyes shake. They shake from left to right or right to left. And they shake like this and not up and down. This is called nystagmus. This is an involuntary eye movement. That means that I cannot make it stop. It's an issue in my brain, so I cannot change that. And the no pigment thing, you can see my eyes are very light colored, and when light comes into my eye, it burns, because I do not have the filter of pigment that, let's say, you or most people would have. This means that I am very light sensitive. I made a video about this in the past, but just think of yourself when you are hungover and you go into a room and all the light hurts. That's basically how it feels. If you have never drank alcohol, or you are too young to drink, think of yourself going in or out of a movie theater. You have like this painful feeling because you're coming out of a dark place to a very light place. So that's the easiest way for me to explain that. So the visual impairment goes from people who are just not legally blind to people who are very blind. I fall under the pretty blind part of this. Some people with albinism can drive because they are just not legally blind, because they have just enough pigment in their eye, or it just doesn't affect them the same way. Everyone with albinism sees differently. For me, I have done a video on what I see, but if you meet another person with albinism, their sight might be different. And honestly, that's kind of the hardest part for me to navigate and deal with. So now I've come to the second part of this video, and this is how to talk to someone with albinism. First and foremost, use person first terminology. What I mean by that is, do not call someone albino. It is a slang term. For me, it is kind of painful because I was teased with it, and I know a lot of people who have also been teased with it, or who have been like severely bullied with the word albino. So please just don't use it. Just use person with albinism. And this goes for every disability. Just use person first terminology. And the second thing is, please don't call me differently abled. Like, I am not differently abled, I am disabled. The world is not made for me. I need aids, so I am disabled. I am not differently abled. Yes, I find different ways to do things, but just, I am disabled. That's where that ends. Another thing, and the third thing, and this is also for doctors, just because I come to the appointment with my mom, or with my fiance, or with my dad, or with any other friend, does not mean that I am not capable of explaining to you what's going on myself. There's some diseases that also have albinism as a symptom that cause people to have mental impairments, but do not assume that I cannot vocalize my own symptoms or what is going on with me. You do not need to talk to the person I'm with if I'm with someone else. Another thing is, do not go and ask people. If you have never met someone with albinism before, and this is the first time you're seeing me, do not just, for me, I do not have a lot of issues with this, but I know when I was younger, I did. People would just come up to me and be like, hi, can I ask you a question? And then I'm like, uh-oh, you have albinism, right? Or you are albino, aren't you? Okay, so I have a couple of issues with this. For me, I feel like it is a very good time to educate others, but I was not in this part of my journey a couple of years ago. Look, I'm 24 now. I have grown to be able to advocate for myself and to talk about this. But a couple of years ago, when I was like 20 and doing magazine interviews and so forth, people put me in a role of a spokesperson, and I was not ready yet. I was mentally and physically not ready to talk about it. It used to give me a literal stomach ache. So please do not just go up to people with albinism and just be like, hey, you have albinism, right? Because honestly, it's just, some of us just want to go through our day and not be a spokesperson. And that is fine. If you see me, by all means, come ask all your questions. We can have a very great laugh over it. We can get a coffee. That's all good, but just don't do this to other random people on the street. And the other day, I will just give you a short story. The woman is amazing. I love her. When I got my nails done, it was the second time I went to this place, because I've been going to a new place because I've been getting like a gel layer on my nails because my nails are very brittle. And she was like, okay, I do want to ask you a question. If you feel uncomfortable, you don't need to answer. And this was the best way to deal with it if you're curious. And she was like, where is your mom from? Where's your dad from? Do you have albinism? And we had a very nice conversation about it. And she did not do this the first time she met me. She did not ask me an abnormal amount of questions that are super invasive. She just asked. And if you feel like you want to know, always ask people if they're comfortable talking. Give the person the time to leave. A lot of people with albinism are visually impaired to blind. So please, please do not just ambush someone and give them a way out. Make sure that they can actually leave. Don't just corner us. Like, I have had someone corner me in Starbucks and be like, hi, you have albinism. And it's a little bit scary because I am a woman, and for me, I do not know what intentions people have towards me. So just cornering me and asking me questions is invasive and, quite frankly, a little bit anxiety provoking for me. So do not do that, please. And the last thing I guess I just want to end this video with is, treat me as a person, treat other people with albinism as people. We are people first, and that's why the terminology is so important. But just remember, you're talking to a person, and do not dumb it down. Do not try to baby us. We are people. I am a grown woman. If I need help, I will ask. And it's just, people do not always understand that I am a person with the same mental capabilities as them. I am human. I am not some weird thing you can come and stare at. People have walked towards me, taken a picture, and just ran away. Like, please do not do that. Just like, if you want to ask something, ask, but treat me like a person. Treat me how you would want to be treated. And I do not understand why I have to say this, but sometimes I feel like I just have to mention it, because not everyone with albinism is willing to talk on the internet about these things. So please just take this advice and take it from someone who has albinism. Take it from Lisa. I am a person with albinism, but this is something, treat us like people. I can say that this probably would work for the whole community that has albinism and has all different types of albinism. So yeah, this is the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for 3 videos a week. I've been on an upload roll and I'm very proud of myself for that. So see you guys in the next video. Bye.